the structure of personality. Okay, let's start with that. Now, so whatever we are discussing till now, whatever we are discussing has been given to us by Freud. Okay. So, according to Freud's theory, fine, our personality is basically being guided by three forces. Okay. Now, these are three forces which Freud had imagined. All right. There is no, these are just concept, guys. Okay. Id, ego, superego, whatever we have, these are concepts. These are not something which is there in reality. These are not organs that we have in our body. No. These are what? These are just concepts. Hai na? These are not real physical features. These are concepts which have been given by whom? Which have been given by Sigmund Freud. Okay? So, what is the first concept which he has given? The first concept which he gave was id. Okay? Alright guys. Id kya hai? Id is basically the source of a person's instinctual energy. Fine. It deals with the immediate gratification of primitive sexual and aggressive impulses. In short, id is something which works on pleasure principle. Okay? Works on what? Okay. So, id क्या चीज है? Id is that force in your mind, कह सकते हैं हम, which is something which guides your instinctual forces. All right. It is something which guides your aggressive, your sexual tendencies, your primitive needs, right? And it is about the immediate gratification, which means the immediate fulfillment of your needs. Okay. So, it works on pleasure principle. What is pleasure principle? Pleasure principle means that you don't think about the reality of the situation. Fine. You will not analyze the reality. You will just do what you think is correct and what you feel is pleasurable. Okay. What you feel is pleasurable and what you feel is correct. Fine. You will not think about the surroundings. You will not think about the situation. You are not concerned about it. You're just concerned about the fulfillment of your immediate needs, right? That this is what you want right now. All right. Okay. Now, Freud said that, much of these instinctual energy or these immediate gratification of need is mostly sexual in nature, and rest of them are the aggressive tendencies. All right. So I think, somewhere or the other, he was correct, guys, because if you take a look at, if just, I'm giving you a serious example, sorry for that, but if you take a look at all the rape cases which take place, right? And I'm not talking about older girls, I'm talking about young children being raped. I'm talking about 8-month-old babies being raped. Who do you think will rape a 8-month-old baby, 2-month-old baby? Who do you think will do that? A person who is very high on this concept, a person whose personality is guided by id, which is your pleasure principle. And I think Freud was right when he said that pleasure principle is mostly guided by instinctive, all right, and sexual needs. Okay. So he was absolutely right when he said it is guided by what? Guided by sexual and aggressive desires. Fine. And I'm not saying this happens with everyone, right? We all have a little bit id in us, isn't it? But we also have a little bit of ego and super ego in us, which actually keeps us in a calm and composed state, which actually helps us in analyzing the situation, that okay, this is what the situation is and this is how I have to act, isn't it? So we are able to act in that way. Fine. So this is what your id is. So id is something which works on the pleasure principle. So if I was really high on id, what would I do? मैं क्या करती? I would have simply, put my pen down, sat down here, all right, and maybe cracked my back like this, okay, and maybe I would have just sat down with a cup of tea here and just talk to you guys and maybe not teach at all, because that is what my id would want to do, isn't it? So that is what your id is. Id works on the pleasure principle. Fine. Then we have ego. All right. So it is something which grows out of it. Sorry. Okay. So it grows out of what? So it grows out of it and seeks to satisfy an individual's instinctual needs in accordance with reality. Okay. So basically, this works on which principle? This works on the reality principle. Okay. So aims to satisfy instincts, all right, in accordance with reality. Okay. So I give you an example of myself if my id was high, right? Now, since my ego is also equally stable, what would I do? I would simply think that, okay, I can finish this class at 5 and then maybe I can sit down, have a cup of tea, relax. Today is Friday. I don't have classes on Saturday and Sunday. I can have a chill time, isn't it? So I can motivate myself to take your class right now. Just giving you an example over here. Okay. So this is what? This is your ego, right? Ego is working according to the reality principle. It is saying that no, you have, so even though if I am thinking that no, I just don't want to take a class, I want to sip a cup of tea and just relax, right? What is my ego telling me? That no, this is not the way you work. This is not what professionalism is. You have taken a responsibility of teaching someone. There are students who would have just finished their schools, maybe not even changed or had food, or maybe they're sitting right in front of their screens and having food, and they are listening to you. They're taking the pain of joining your class live. So it's better that you please start teaching them, because that's your responsibility, that's your reality, the reality that you have chosen, isn't it? So that is what your ego is. Ego will tell you what the reality of the situation is. Okay. So sorry. So id is something which is unrealistic, it's very demanding, fine, and works according to the pleasure principle. Ego is patient, responsible, all right? So ego kya hai guys? Ego is patient and responsible, okay? So ego क्या है? Ego is very much patient and ego is very much responsible. Fine. Now, the next thing that we have is superego. Okay. What is superego, guys? Superego is the moral branch of mental functioning. Fine. What is it? Is the fine. It is what? It is the moral branch of mental functioning. Fine. The superego basically tells the id and the ego whether whatever they are doing, right, whatever gratification is needed, whether it's ethical or not. Fine. So it's basically like the moral branch. Fine. So it works on which principle? It works on the moral principle. Okay. किस प्रिंसिपल पे काम करते हैं? Sorry. All right. So it works on which principle, guys? It works on the moral principle. Fine. It will tell you whether whatever you want, whatever your gratification is it even moral? Is it even good to have it? Is it even okay to have something like that? Fine. So it helps control the id by internalizing the parental authority to the process of socialization. What do you mean by that? See, if a child is left alone, right, without any parental guidance, do you think the child is going to focus on their ego or superego? Not really. The child is only going to focus on their id, isn't it? If you don't guide children to eat what should they eat, they will just keep on hogging on chocolates, biscuits, and ice creams, etc. Right? That is why it is the mothers and fathers' responsibility that they guide their child that no, this is your dinner time. You have dinner, then you can have all the dessert that you want, isn't it? This is your sleeping time, so you sleep. And when you get up, you can play all you want, right? So what is that? Your parents are doing what? Your parents are helping you learn skills of socialization, first of all, and at the same time, they're also helping you in learning authority. We listen to our parents. When they tell us that we have to sleep, we sleep. When they tell us that we have to eat, we eat, isn't it? So it helps us in internalizing that. It helps us in making that parental authority as a part of our being, right? मतलब I'm sure कि आप सब देख रहे होगे that it has now become a part of your being, isn't it? You don't think even twice before asking your parents permission for things. You know that this is something you have to do, isn't it? Like water is something you have to drink. Parents' permission for going out somewhere is something you have to take, isn't it? It's not something in which you're going to think twice. So you have internalized it. It has become a part of what? It has become a part of your being. Okay?